Okay, we're going to go ahead and start section 13.4, and what we're actually dealing with is radian measure and arc length. You've seen arc length, and you've probably seen radian measure in your geometry classes. Basically, we're going to talk about radian measure typically is in terms of pi. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of kind of, hey, a video activity. What I'd like you to do is think to yourself, what's the circumference of the unit circle, and what's the angle measure of one rotation about the unit circle. So think about those things and come back to the video and we'll go ahead and go over the solution. And the second bullet point is what's the circumference of half the unit circle, and what's the angle measure of half rotation about the unit circle. Okay, so coming back to this, we'll go ahead and confirm that you guys kind of had this set up right. Well, we know in the unit circle the radius is equal to 1. So circumference is equal to 2 pi r. So the circumference of the unit circle would just equal 2 pi. One angle measure, one rotation around a circle, the unit circle, would be 360 degrees. Okay. What about half of the unit circle? Well, we would take the circumference, right, and divide it by 2, and that would be the circumference of half the unit circle. Well, if we're talking about a rotation in degrees, that would be 180 degrees. Okay? So circumference is arc length. It's like perimeter for a circle, right? So it's the distance along the arc from one starting point to one ending point. We use angles to talk about how it curves. So we're going to see the definition of a radian. Well, the definition of a radian is the measure of an angle based on its arc length on the unit circle. Okay, so that means if I rotate 180 degrees, what was the actual circumference or arc length? That was pi. So that means this distance right here is equal to pi. It's a 180 degree rotation, but it's 3.14 units, okay, long. Now at 360 degrees, it's a full revolution, so we had our circumference equal to 2 pi. So that means when we're dealing with the unit circle, if I had this full rotation, right, that would be 2 pi. Okay? And so that would be, so this distance would be 3.14, and this would be 6.28 approximately. So that's the length around the circle from start to finish. And that's us traveling on the actual edge. And so what we're going to start doing is we're going to convert from degrees to radians, or we're going to convert from radians to degrees. Mr. Allen's trying to make me laugh here. It's not working.
It's going to work.
It's not going to work. Okay, so what we've just determined is that when we're dealing with our radian conversions, when we get into the types of problems, we know that based on what we found in these first two steps, we know that 180 degrees is going to equal pi. So this is our degree measure, and this is our radian measure. And we also know that 360 degrees is going to equal 2 pi, and this is our degree measure, and this is our radian measure. This guy's supposed to be an arrow. We'll clean that up. Okay, and that's our introduction to radians. And so radians are in terms of pi. We can express radians as decimals, but primarily we're going to use terms of pi.